Ladies and gentlemen, today we've got the two hottest off-road trucks out there. We've got the Ram TRX and the Ford Raptor. Now, I look at them as the hammer, the TRX, versus the scalpel. So even though they are very similar, they don't have a lot in common, except for one thing, Tommy. What's that?
Well, I look at them like the shovel and the excavator.
What do they have in common?
Oh, they're both $77,000 behind us as equipped.
Yeah, they both cost $77,000. In this video, we're going to show you exactly what you get in your off-road truck for $77K. There can be no doubt that this Ram TRX is one badass truck, and the design says so. I mean, look at this massive hood scoop. Look at those three marker lights that say it's freaking wide.
It is very cool, but I do have a question for you.
Yes, Tommy.
Why have they fitted it with a mustache and a unibrow? It kind of looks like a 1930s Italian detective trying to solve the case of the missing linguine.
All right, I have a question for you.
Okay, what?
Why do they put a cheese grater on the front of the Raptor?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there. It is a little beehive-y, but at least my Ford emblem is bigger than your Ram.
Yeah, but you know what's not bigger? Let me show you. You know, they say the difference between a man and a boy is the size of his supercharger, or the lack thereof, because I have one. Yep, that's right. I've got a 6.2 liter Hemi V8 that puts out, get this, 702 horsepower. Remember I said TRX, but really T-Rex. See right there? That is a T-Rex eating a Raptor. Yum.
Now, Dad, I will give you that superchargers were the in thing when you were born in the mid-30s, but in 2021, we've progressed on to turbochargers, and the Ford has two of them, a 3.5 liter EcoBoost with 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque, and the best part of the Ford is you don't have to leave it plugged into a gas pump overnight. You can drive it like a normal vehicle and just fill up occasionally.
How many liters was that, Tommy?
More than enough, Dad.
How many was that? 3.5 liters, huh?
Mighty 3.5, you betcha.
For $77,000, both trucks come equipped with 35s, but mine are bigger. Yep, they're 325/60 R18s. Tommy, what size are yours?
Well, they're 315 widths, but get this, they are snow-rated KO2s, and because you get more truck for your money with the Raptor at $77K, you also get beadlock-capable wheels, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, beadlock-capable wheels are an option on the TRX, but at $77K, you don't get those, but you do get Goodyear Wranglers. So Tommy, I have a much better ride in the Ram because I've got active Bilstein suspension. They're massive shocks.
Yeah, so you're telling me live wire suspension? They copied Ford. Ford did that a couple years ago.
Yeah, that would be the case, except that I've got coil springs. What do you have?
I've got leaf springs. They worked for the Romans. They'll work for us in 2021. They're fine. They work.
And get this, I can actually adjust these on the fly to customize the setting to make them either Baja or Street or Sport. Can you do that?
Well, sort of, but here's the thing. At least I can pronounce the name of my shock manufacturer, Fox. Yours is Bilstein Kleinman.
I think it's Bilstein, like like Bierstein.
Yeah.
Tommy, to get into my truck, I've got this handy dandy step, a dampened tailgate. How easy is that?
Right, well, for $77, I also get a tailgate. Perhaps no surprise there, but I have a much larger step with an integrated handle.
Tommy, look at this screen. It's massive and beautiful.
It is very nice. Yeah, it's cool.
It is, yeah. Do you have that?
I do not, but if you want to go down the what kind of technology and features do you have, let me play that game with you really quick.
Sure.
So, keyless entry where you can just open the door without using a key.
Available.
Do you have it?
Available.
Sunroof.
Available.
Ventilated seats.
Heated and heated steering wheel.
What about ventilated seats?
Available.
Well, at least you have a headliner. I mean, they didn't skimp on some features, but Dad, you're missing so much for $77 compared to the Raptor. What about a front-facing camera?
Available.
Parking sensors.
Available.
Blind spot monitoring.
You know, I like to think of this truck as having everything you need and nothing you don't.
Adaptive cruise control.
I have cruise control.
Yeah, it is well equipped, Ed, I will give you that, but it is missing a lot of the stuff that you get for the same price on the Ford.
You know what I have that you don't have?
What?
It's this little button right there. Can you read that?
Lunch?
No, it's launch.
Oh, launch.
I have launch control, Tommy. And
Okay.
more importantly, I have this. You know what that is?
What, push button start?
No, that's the sound of a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 that's not faked like the Fords.
All right, let's see what the Ford's got.
Wow, it's like stepping back into the 80s, Tommy.
Well, okay, this is the generation of Ford F-150 that debuted in, like, what, 2015 for the first model
Not
year?
84?
No, not 84, 15. But, all jokes aside, I've got ventilated seats, I have memory seats, I've got the giant panoramic sunroof, look at this. 360-degree cameras, front-facing cameras, I've got parking sensors, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, all things you don't have for 77 grand.
Hey, you also got a lot of hard plastics, dude.
Yes, but when are you touching the top of your dashboard when you drive along? What are you doing?
I don't know. How about drive modes? What do you got drive modes wise?
Drive modes, I have a bunch of them, so I control them via the mode selector here on the steering wheel. By the way, look at my bacon strip.
Okay.
I like my bacon strip. So I've got Sport, Tow Haul, Deep Snow and Sand, Baja, Rock Crawl, and then, of course, a slippery mode.
You know, I've got all those. Plus, best of all, I've got a custom one that lets me actually configure how I want the suspension to work. Do you have that?
I do not, but if I put it in Baja mode, it changes it up from like rock crawl, and I've got better paddle shifters.
What do you mean they're better? They're the same.
Better. No, they're better. Plus, I have carbon fiber.
Why don't you give it a little bit of the beans? What am I hearing there, Tommy? What's that sound?
So it augments the engine note on the inside, which is fine. No, hear me out. You drive the truck typically from the inside, not from the outside. So as long as it sounds cool in here, who cares what it sounds like out back?
All right, well, let's take the TRX for a drive, and then we'll take this for a drive, and we'll come to a conclusion. Which one is more value for your $77,000?
Sounds good.
All right, Tommy, there is an Achilles heel of this truck, of course, and that is with great displacement comes pretty eye-popping fuel economy. And I just drove it from Detroit, and I haven't reset it yet. 11.5, dude.
There's a lot of things I do like about this infotainment. I think the usability of it's much better than the Raptor in terms of the way you navigate through the menus and the climate control and that kind of stuff. And I especially like these TRX modes, which gives you the performance pages and like the launch control settings, and they're a little bit slow, but when they pop open,
It'll be before we get back. It literally takes that long for this to load. I'm serious. I don't know, what kind of processor this has, but I suspect it's also from the 80s. Look, it's still loading. So it's not all wine and roses in the TRX.
no, but it does work fairly well in everything else, like climate and infotainment. You do have a couple blink switches up here.
Yeah.
You notice that as well.
Yeah.
And that's because this is a tier 1 package. So there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then there's even, I think, one below this, right? The TR.
Yeah.
But this is currently the most entry-level one that you're going to be finding.
Yeah. Now the great thing about, of course, this truck is, well, the suspension, because I think it's a little bit softer and a little bit more compliant, which I love. Think of it like a 1970s Cadillac. 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds at sea level, according to the fine folks at Ram. But it only does it on 8-speed, which, also doesn't help with the fuel economy. But let's wait for this car to go by, and then let's give it a little bit of... No turbo lag! I could do that all day long.
That is ridiculously fast, I will give you that.
I love the induction note, right? All that air being sucked into the supercharger, and I love the exhaust note. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Tell me, there's nothing more sublime than the way that this power plant and this truck work together to just, put a huge smile on your face when you floor it, and best of all, put incredible, almost trophy truck-like performance, at the tip of your big toe. What more could you want for 77 than that, Tommy?
It's time to check out the Ford. Raptor time, Dad, in our new 2020 truck, and we bought both of these trucks for a long-term review.
Yeah, we're going to keep them for a year, and we're going to find out which of these actually is more reliable.
And which is better off-road, and which is better on-road. Now let's talk about off-road worthiness for a sec.
Yeah.
Both of these trucks have a locking rear differential.
Yes.
They both have a 4-low transfer case.
Right.
there's a little bit of a difference in the front end. The Raptor has a true Torsen limited slip front differential.
It's better.
It is better off-road than what Ram offers in that truck. But in terms of desert running, they're both going to be pretty darn good because they both have a lot of suspension travel.
Yeah, and this one also has this cool feature where it's got two high, whereas the TRX is always in all-wheel or four-wheel drive. The other great thing about this Raptor is it's got a giant fuel tank. I want to say 36 gallons, and you can get close to 450 miles on a tank full. In the TRX, if you get 300, you're doing well.
That's a great point, Dad. And right now it's saying over 500 miles on this full tank, which is pretty incredible. Now we are merging onto the main road.
And what's your MPG? What are you getting?
Currently 17. It's a little optimistic. I think it's closer to like 15 or 16, but it's still better than the Ram. So I'm going to come to a complete stop here.
I'm ready. Go for it.
Here we go. Forward.
What do I hear, Tommy?
That right there, Dad, is simulated V8, but
it's good. It's good. I mean, not the simulated V8. I'm talking about the quickness of the truck, but it doesn't throw you in the seat as hard as the other one. It's probably what, a second slower, maybe a second and a half slower.
Oh, at least, yeah. I mean, I think in the turns, this feels a little bit more nimble, a little bit more crisp. Although the steering in this is quicker, the transition in terms of how the body rolls through turns is definitely crisper in the Ford than the Ram. It doesn't sound nearly as good, and certainly doesn't go as quick in a straight line.
All right, Tommy, obviously we're having a little bit of fun, but I gotta tell you, I love both of these trucks, right? And I started this video by saying, this is the hammer and that's the scalp bone. Let me explain that, right? If you're talking pure numbers, for $77,000, you get a lot more in this truck. You get 1,300 pounds of payload versus 1,000. You get 8,100 pounds of towing versus 8,000. And more importantly, you get 252 more horsepower. That's why it's the hammer.
Yes, but the Raptor, I think you get a lot more tech for your money. You also get a very solid platform that's been around for a long time. It's proven, and you know it's much kind of more fun to drive in some ways. It's much more lively.
So it really depends on what you guys value. Please let us know in the comments below. For $77,000, which of these trucks would you have?
And as always, this has been Tommy
and Roman saying, check out TFLtruck.com for more news, views,
and real world reviews.
Of course, there's a new Raptor coming.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait for that for the true head-to-head, but currently it's the 2020 versus the 2021 TRX.
Yeah, and that new Raptor, probably 2022, dude.
We'll see.